It's a Saturday night in the Steel City. Inside the Petersen Events Center, the Louisville Cardinals are in town to take on the red-hot Pittsburgh Panthers. The Oakland Zoo is primed and ready to go, and so are we. And welcome everybody alongside Josh Pastner. I'm Doug Sherman. So glad you're with us here tonight. A Pitt team that can't afford a slip-up tonight. They've got everything going for them. They are back on the NCAA tournament bubble, but this is a key game here tonight.
Doug, great to be with you, and this is a big game for Pitt. They've done their job winning road games, but you can't lose this game. This is a must-win game for Pitt.
Cardinals are dangerous, but they are down a couple of key players in the backcourt, and so even more on the plate tonight for Mike James.
Yeah, Mike James has got to step up big time if Louisville wants a chance to win this game. Last time they played, he was 5 for 7 from 3, had 23 points. He's got to have the same type of performance tonight versus Pitt if Louisville wants to win.
Meanwhile, the unquestioned leader for Pittsburgh, both on the court and off the court, is Blake Hinson.
Yeah, Blake Hinson's been outstanding, an all-ACC type of guy. He's 12 points away from 1,000 points. That's amazing. Fourth fastest player to do that. He's got to score 12 points tonight, which I think he'll do.
So Louisville released right before tip-off that Sky Clark is out with a rib injury and Tylar Johnson is out with concussion-like symptoms. He did not make the trip here to Pittsburgh, and so the Cardinals will have to do it by committee. They're down to 7 available scholarship players. And on the defensive end, it makes it even that much tougher against a very potent Pittsburgh offense.
Yeah, and you're right, Doug. So for Louisville being down those guys, sometimes it just gives them an opportunity for guys who maybe haven't played as much to say, hey, I'm going to play a lot tonight. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I'm not going to get pulled at all. And you never know how things go because of the three-point shot. Louisville's going to have to make threes tonight.
And there you see Sky Clark, who is out. He has dealt with a hip pointer earlier this year. He's got a rib injury now. Didn't play on Tuesday. And so there's 13 points out of your starting lineup. And Tylar Johnson, their starting point guard, not here, averaging 9 a game. But it's not so much the points that they're missing with those two guys.
Well, it's more than that, because it's not just the points. It's also they don't turn the ball over, as in terms they have a higher assist to turnover ratio, where everyone else in Louisville, that was not real effective. They really turned the ball over a lot, and that was an emphasis and shoot around by Coach Capel. First time they played, Louisville had 18 turnovers against Pitt, and Pitt scored 28 points against them. Pitt got on the board there to get 2 free throws by Federico. Louisville's got to stay in the game by every time down, trying to wear some clock and making Pitt have to play. And that's a great start right there with Huntley Hatfield.
Brandon Huntley Hatfield with his first 2 points. And here's the Pittsburgh starting lineup that has really gelled, with Jalen Lowe moving in, an all-freshman backcourt with Carlton Bud Carrington. And then keep an eye for when Ish Leggett comes off the bench. He has been as good a 6th man as anybody in the ACC, especially in the last month, Josh.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. It's been a great punch for them, getting that energy coming off the bench, and he's been able to score. But for Louisville, for them to win this game being shorthanded, they've got to make those shots.
Carrington misfires. One and done for Pitt at this end. Louisville with the basketball just underway. Cardinals with it. Here is Mike James, 3rd-year sophomore. Had an Achilles injury that cost him a year. Cost him a little bit of his bounce, but he is pretty much back to where he was now this year. Huntley Hatfield just carving out space. Federico, though, able to hold his ground.
Yeah, Federico's got such long arms. He's a great defender because of his length and his size and his verticality. But smart by Louisville to go back-to-back times, besides that three-point shot in the corner, to go try to establish Huntley Hatfield in the paint.
Jalen Lowe with a little step back. And the confetti flies in the Oakland Zoo.
I love Jalen Lowe's game. Since mid-January, he's been outstanding. One of the best guards in the ACC, and he's only a freshman, a true freshman. He's from Texas, Houston, Texas area. Been outstanding.
Well, he is making his 11th straight start, and no coincidence, it coincides with Pitt really taking off. The Panthers have won their last 4, 6 of their last 7, including the big win at Cameron over Duke. First time they've won in Durham since 1979. And then they went to JPJ and stopped Virginia's long home court winning streak. And so those are really 2 great wins and indicators that the Panthers aren't going to go away now that Joe Lunardi has them on the next 4 outline in his bracketology.
Well, what I would say right there, Doug, is Great block for Federico. They got lucky, Louisville. Hinson got a wide open three the possession before. Louisville is one of the worst in the ACC in three-point defense. Pitt's the best in three-point offense. They got fortunate. They've got to guard the three, Louisville. They've really got to extend and make him shoot tough twos. Coach Kenny Payne was talking about that all shoot around.
Corner three off the mark. Zach Austin unable to get the range. Here is Trey White, one of the Louisville guards, who misses the dunk, who's going to be asked to do more, kind of a point guard by committee. Austin quickly back the other way. Great body control for two.
That's a big four-point swing. You have an uncontested layup, misses the dunk, and then you give Pitt an opportunity to come down. That's a four-point swing. Those make coaches like Kenny Payne, they're sick to your stomach to give away a wide open layup and then giving Pitt a bucket on the other end. Those things bite you in the rear.
You don't miss those stomach aches at all. White has it poked away. And the ball is tied up. The possession arrow will keep it at this end when we come back.
You can see here Pitt on this drive right here by Williams, but look at Federico come with the block. Outstanding defense by Pittsburgh and Federico.
On Tuesday night, the Pitt Panthers won for the first time in Charlottesville in half a century. It had been 50 years before beating the Cavaliers 74-63. The first home loss for UVA in over a year, 23 straight wins. Blake Hinson went for 27 points, and Josh, 14 made threes for Pitt, the most at JPJ since 2008.
Incredible win for them to do that. I mean, you think about the win at Virginia, so hard to do. You have to make threes against Virginia, which they did, but they also smashed Virginia on the glass, which is not a Virginia thing. They beat people on the glass. That's why Pitt won the game, not only the made threes, but the way they rebounded the ball.
With the shot clock down to 3, the miss by Curtis Williams, the freshman from Detroit. Here's Pittsburgh quickly inside and back out to Lowe. Little short, gets his own miss. Blake Hinson for 3. He makes more triples than anybody else in the ACC, and he's got his first here tonight.
Pitt's gotten good looks. They've missed him until Hinson hit that one. But offensive rebounds, when you shoot threes, Doug, long shots, long rebounds. That's what happened there. It bounced long. Jalen Lowe was to get it. And sometimes the best chance to shoot a three-point shot is off the offensive rebound. Jalen Lowe got the one more to Hinson, and he nailed it.
And Hinson is not just a volume shooter. Here comes Lowe. White blocked the shot. Cardinals back the other way. Williams, no. Hinson clears the glass, and Pitt will slow it up. Louisville now 1 of 9 shooting. Down 9-2 early.
You know, it's really tough when you're down those guards that Louisville is. When they have some open threes, you've got to stick them, especially early.
Hinson playing a little old man basketball there. He's not just a three-point shooter.
What happens is they start stretching out, trying to guard the three, and they allow that drive, and Pittsburgh's attacking the closeout. Kenny Payne talked about his shoot-around. Kenny Payne talked about take out the three, make him shoot twos, but Pitt's taking advantage of that.
Now 7 points shy of 1,000 in his Pittsburgh career. Blake Hinson off to a quick start tonight for Pitt.
Yeah, you look at these shots right here. As I missed, Jalen Lowe missed a three, long shot, long rebound, but the best time to get a three-point look is off the offensive rebound. He found it, found Hinson, and then Louisville closing out on the three, trying to take the three out. Hinson reattacks the closeout and gets to the paint and scores an old-fashioned two.
Well, in modern basketball, Pittsburgh has a great combination. They lead the ACC in made threes per game, and they also, on the other end, are best at limiting three-point shooting. Their opponents only make 30% of their threes at this end of the floor. Going to be a foul against Ish Leggett as he collided along the baseline with Caleb Glenn.
The Pitt defensively really takes after Coach Capel, the demand he makes defensively. You saw it in shoot-around today. The way they scramble, how hard they play, they sink and fill on the backside there when those are the rotations that are involved. And they make it where you really have to swing it and get open looks in transition to get an open three. They really do a great job of taking the three out.
Mike James feeds the post. Caleb Glenn over the left shoulder snaps the 9-0 Pittsburgh run.
And you can see there on Pitt's defense, Carrington, when his dig, they were talking about that day, digging in the post, but he was able to dig and get back to not only able to pass for the three, but Glenn was able to make a tough shot.
Leggett, clean look from the right side, no, long rebound James. Louisville's been rebounding better lately. And the man with the basketball now putting it on the deck. He's been playing well, and you say their rebounding resurgence has been largely about number 5 in white.
I think Huntley Hatfield, he's really accepted his role. He's really good by the basket. The more Louisville can set a presence for him down by the paint, it's better for Louisville. He's one of the better bigs scoring at the block. Now he caught it from there and drove it from the perimeter. But they need him to be more by the basket. And the more he is, the better they're rebounding, the better they're scoring. He's got to establish that presence by the block. But that's why they're rebounding better in these last few games, is his play at the post area. Over
7 minutes in here at the Pete with Josh Pastner on Doug Sherman. Panthers up 11-6. Cardinals go inside with 7 on the shot clock. Nifty bounce pass. Count the basket and one. How about the look from Huntley Hatfield to find the cutter, and Caleb Glenn has a chance for 3.
Yeah. If you Pitt got looking on the weak side, and then what happens is everyone focused on Huntley Hatfield, and then you can see the cut, a great cut, and Huntley Hatfield with a beautiful pass. The more they can get Huntley Hatfield by the block, the more they can establish and play through him, it is the best chance for Louisville to win this game. Then what happens, everyone gets focused on Huntley Hatfield, which will give guys like Mike James, other guys, open three-point attempts, but they've got to establish Huntley Hatfield at the block area. And even there, now they just subbed him out, he can even get deeper position. He settled and was caught a little bit in the long post. He could even got deeper by the block here if he wanted to.
Glenn completes the three-point play. Into the game, Emmanuel Okorafor and Zan Payne, the son of head coach Kenny Payne. Again, Louisville playing with 9 players, only 7 on scholarship tonight, so different roles for a number of them. White rips the rebound away, and Louisville with it, down by 2. It's a 7-0 run for the Cardinals, answering the 9-0 spurt that Pitt had.
Jalen Lowe has had great passes for Pitt to find open three-point shooters, just Pitt hasn't made them, fortunately for Louisville, and they're following Coach Kenny Payne's game plan. Do not take, you got to fly at the three-point shooters. Make them shoot tough twos.
Mike James still scoreless, averaging 13.5 per game. Just over 8 minutes gone. Hinson splits the double team. Austin off the bounce. And another strong rebound from Caleb Glenn, the 6'6" freshman from Louisville out of Male High School. Said the best athlete he's ever faced was his dad. His father, Victor Glenn, was a wide receiver back in the early 2000s at Louisville. Trying to get the whistle, and he does. Trey White will head to the free throw line to shoot 2 when we come back. And when we come back, we've got the very latest from Joe Lunardi and what he thinks about Coach Capel and the Pitt Panthers. As we were heading to break, Pitt head coach Jeff Capel was assessed a technical foul by Jenna Renault, one of our 3 officials. You see her there now with Ted Valentine, Tommy Morrissey, our 3rd official. And here is what got Coach Capel upset. The call on the shot as Leggett picked up the personal.
That's really got him upset about that. He felt that Louisville got jumped into him. That's what Coach Capel was upset about. And I can also tell you, from sitting in his chair, he knows this is a must-win game. And all of a sudden you get up, you have that lead, and you're kind of letting your foot off the gas. Louisville's making a run. He feels it, Coach Capel. So he feels it, and then here you get 4 free throws for Louisville, because what Pitt can't happen is allow Louisville to hang around. The longer Louisville hangs around, the more Louisville gets that confidence saying, okay, we can beat Pitt, and then Pitt, on the other hand, can tighten up because they know this is a must-win game. to try to get in the tournament, they cannot afford to have a loss in this game.
And so that is 9 unanswered points as Mike James makes the free throw to tie the game. And as you mentioned, Josh, now it's Trey White who will take his turn. He didn't play in the first game against Pittsburgh, but so important to this team at 6'7". The USC transfer has been playing well lately.
And the other thing is, I think he was upset that Tommy Morrison was on the high side and didn't call the foul, and the official was underneath, and he felt the call should have been from the high, not from the low.
Well, Louisville has its first lead of the night, making 3 of the 4 free throws. Pittsburgh with the basketball down by a point. The Panthers have gone scoreless now for more than 3 minutes.
And they've gotten good looks. They just haven't finished them, and that's why Coach Capel's been on it. They can't allow Louisville to hang around.
Well, they get the ball into the hands of Hinson, and he knocks down the 3. He has 8 early points, and the Panthers seesaw back in front.
That was their worst look they've had in all this time, and he ends up making it. Just funny how basketball works out about that. But they needed that basket big.
Well, last 7 games, he's been making 46% of his threes, including 7 for 7 at Cameron. No basket. Foul before the shot. But you can see, as we take a look at the foul call, that they say was on the floor before White went up.
I actually think that should have been a and one, and where the time before wasn't a foul, but that's just the way it goes. So much on referees is about the 50-50 calls on those type of things. They can make or break a career, they can make or break games, get teams in the tournament. They've got a lot of influence in the game.
White on the pull-up, his first made field goal, and we're tied at 14. As we come to the midpoint of the first half, one of the things we're going to track tonight is Louisville turning the basketball over. And Josh, they have been clean. No turnovers so far. A big difference from the 18 turnovers they had the first time these two teams met, which led to 28 Pittsburgh points. Hinson. And it's Louisville basketball looking to retake the lead.
And nobody on Louisville on the floor tonight will have a positive assist to turnover ratio. Everyone's has more turnovers than assists. So credit to Louisville doing a good job of taking care of the ball. And Coach Capel stressed that during shoot around this afternoon. We've got to pressure these guys. We've got to make them turn it over.
James out to White, 5 to shoot. White dumps it off. Good challenge at the rim, but the foul goes against Austin. That will send Emmanuel Okorafor to the free throw line.
Might have got him right there at the backside of the hand. Look, the nice thing sitting right there. He got it. That was a good call. The nice thing about being in this chair, I can comment on the officials without having to get worried about getting reprimanded. That being said, I like to call balls and strikes on the officials. That was the right call, the correct call. Fans are booing about it, but he did get hit. Good job by the officials on that one.
Now, Teddy Valentine got you a couple of times, I understand.
He's teed me up a couple times. This happened.
So he's ready. He's listening.
He's ready, absolutely. You don't want to mess with Teddy Valentine, that's for certain. But this is a really good crew. All 3 officials are high-level officials. Teddy's obviously worked multiple Final Fours. Jenna and Tommy, they're high-level NCAA tournament officials, so this is a really good crew.
Federico back into the game for Pittsburgh. By the way, you've noticed by now Pittsburgh is wearing its blue uniforms. It's Rock the Royal. These are their road uniforms that they occasionally wear here inside the Pete.
Long shots, long rebounds, bad bounce, hit nothing but the backboard in the kind of the corner of the rim, and got it back to Jalen Lowe. That's a second offensive rebound off of a long shot.
William Jeffress into the game off the front rim. Zan Payne with a strong rebound for the Cardinals.
I don't think Pitt's gotten as many clean looks when they're trying to force it. They just need to continue to let it come to them.
Hinson. Tell you what, the 2 freshman guards, Carlton Carrington there, as well as Jalen Lowe, they always know where number 2 is.
Well, he's really good in transition, and it's actually an easier shot for him because he gets his feet set. He's in rhythm, he's in flow while he's in transition, and both Carrington and Jalen Lowe find him. They know where he's at because when they do find him, usually good things happen.
Well, he has made 3 threes already tonight. James kick to the corner. Glenn gets those 3 right back.
Great penetration by James. He spun and he sucked the defense in from Pitt. and he was able to find the open man and got the open three. That's how Louisville's got to make those type of threes, by driving, getting a paint touch, and kicking out.
Glenn last weekend had a career game, 18 points, or rather 15 points and 13 rebounds against Georgia Tech. And he has picked up tonight where he left off last week. And Glenn now with 8 as we take another look.
You can see Carrington finds him in transition, but look at the rhythm of his feet. Being a great shooter like Hinson is, everything's about getting your feet set. And then watch James here on the penetration. Hinson ball watches right there, and Mike James finds the open man, nothing but the bottom of the net.
Danilo Jovanovic, sophomore from Milwaukee, into the game for Louisville. Here he is. Former Miami Hurricane with the basketball. Under 8 minutes to go in the half. Brandon Huntley Hatfield feeds the post to James inside.
You see they're trying to post James. They call travel, but they're trying to post James because he's bigger than the guards that's guarding him. They try to go right inside and establish a post presence. I really liked it by Kenny Payne.
Here's James at 6'5", the redshirt sophomore, trying to impose his will inside against Pittsburgh.
Pitt is on the board. That's right, the Panthers, 8 spots away from the at-large cut line. How do they move up? Well, let's start by not losing at home to Louisville. 6 games after that, let's say win your home games. That's 3 more wins. 1 out of 3 road games. That gets you to 12-8 in the league. And I think right at the cut line, maybe even in the field, heading to the ACC tournament.
So there you have it from Joey Brackets, as Pittsburgh is trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for a 2nd straight year. And so the schedule is set up with games that if they win, they should find their way in.
Doug, Louisville's resume, they have 2 incredible wins on the road at Duke, at Virginia, which is so hard to do. They have 6 true road wins, which is an incredible stat. But these next games, they have to win tonight, but these next 3 games after this game, you got at Wake, home Virginia Tech, at Clemson. They need to try to steal 1 to 2 of those if they can. They're in a great position of being in the tournament. But none of that matters if they don't win tonight, and right now they're losing. I can see Coach Capel, he feels it. He knows what's at stake for this game.
Brandon Huntley Hatfield had it poked away. 2nd turnover committed by the Cardinals. Hinson turns the corner, gets downhill, flips it up and in. And that is 1,000 career points as a Pitt Panther for Blake Hinson, over 1,500 for his total college career, which began at Ole Miss.
Congratulations to Blake. It is a great honor and an accomplishment to score 1,000 points at a school. Congrats to him. Pittsburgh has had many great players that have played here, so for him to be in that record books with that is an outstanding.
Well, he played 2 years for Iowa State, and then, or rather, 2 years for Ole Miss, then transferred to Iowa State, where he did not play. 1 year for medical reasons, the other year just to take a year off. And he has come and packed what feels like 6 years worth of basketball in a Panthers uniform, and the folks here in the Oakland Zoo and inside the Pete are paying their appreciation for that man right now.
Yeah, well, a couple things. Louisville is really, because of the gravity that Blake Hinson has, because of his 3-point shooting, Louisville is stretched to him. And so when they're closing out, he's now attacking to the rim. So back-to-back plays, he gets his 1,000th point, attacking the paint, and then right here in transition, instead of shooting that 3, decides to again attack the paint. Because of the gravity that he has, he's now becoming that player where, okay, if you're going to take out the 3, I'm going right down and driving by you.
Well, he's got 14 points. His teammates tonight combined for 6. He's the unquestioned voice on this team, and you heard it periodically throughout shoot-around today. You've heard it over the last couple of years in practice. He has been empowered by Jeff Capel and his staff to really be an extension of them.
Yeah, I thought his leadership today, just his energy, he was an energy giver. He was extremely positive, talking during shoot-around, asking questions. He acted like he was a mature veteran in college basketball, and he led that way. And part of the reason why Pitt has had the success last year and this year, a lot has to do with his leadership in Blake Hinson.
It's by Trey White. White gets in the air, commits the foul, and a chance for three. Blake Hinson is going to work tonight in the Steel City.
And Blake Hinson, again, he's not living and dying by the three. White is out there, is in his airspace. He can literally smell his breath. He's so close to him. So instead of Hinson settling for the three, he's attacking him to the rim, gets his body into him, uses the 2-foot jump stop, gets the ball fake, gets White lifted, and now has a chance for an old-fashioned and one.
Yeah, and Josh, these are 2 and now maybe 3 points off a turnover. Cardinals have been a little bit sloppier lately, as Hinson has already matched his season average with 18 points. Comes in the 5th leading scorer in the ACC. Of course, R.J. Davis at North Carolina is out in front of everybody.
Louisville's trying to get the ball inside to Huntley Hatfield, but he's got to do a better job in another. No, they didn't call over the back. Huntley Hatfield's got to do a better job of demanding the ball at the post, not settling for the long post. When he comes in there, he's got to seal better with his feet because he needs to set that presence so they can get him the ball. That's the best chance for Louisville right now, is to continue to attack to him, but they can't be turning it over. And as you mentioned, Doug, they've gotten a little sloppy in these last few minutes.
Yeah, that's 4 turnovers now for Louisville in just the last couple of minutes after having been clean through the first 10.
You see Louisville now will go to their zone. They worked on this afternoon and shoot around, really trying to take out the three to the corners.
Carrington looking for his first points. Pittsburgh cleans it up. Federico makes it 26-18 Pittsburgh.
In Louisville's zone this afternoon when they were working, they were really trying to get to the corners, guarding the shooters in the corners. But when you do that and you take your 5-man out to the corner, sometimes you allow that dribble penetration to the paint. That's what Pitt got there, that pass to Federico.
Glenn went down hard, holding his hip as play continues at the other end. Hinson off the hesitation draws the foul on James. And good to see Glenn is back up and seems to be fine, walking back down to the other end of the floor.
Again, Doug, as you can see in transition, the way Hinson was running to that slot area right in front of the Louisville bench, he was timing his feet to shoot an open three, but once again, the gravity that he pulls from the Louisville defenders, he did not settle and re-attacked and has continued to get to the free throw line, continue to get to the paint, and good things happen when that goes. Early on, when they were not making threes, Hinson decided, hey, we've got to get on the board here, and the best way to do that is when you're not shooting the ball well, is to get the ball to the paint, drive through the pass, get to the free throw line, put the onus on the officials.
Federico gets the offensive rebound. Hinson has it stripped away on the way up. Nonetheless, it's 10 unanswered points for Pitt. Williams loses the handle. Jalen Lowe has it poked away by Zan Payne. Back and forth we go. And the Cardinals cash in transition with Caleb Glenn. He's in double figures now.
That was sloppy by both teams there. Louisville's got to do a better job taking care of the ball. For them to hang around, they cannot give away possessions. Early part of the game, they were fantastic how they had ball security.
Hinson from way downtown. Caitlin Clark kind of range on that triple. This is the largest lead. And Hinson is in the midst of a potential career night.
He shot it from where we're sitting.
We were the closest defenders to him. We didn't do very well.
No, we did not. Our hands are down.
Glenn in traffic somehow gets it off the window, and he'll have a chance for three.
Yep, again, great job there by Louisville setting the presence inside there, but you can see Pittsburgh here with Blake Hinson. He's been their team leader. He's got 22 already. He's on fire. He's shooting it from the scores table. Where we're from the announcers. We got to play better defense. Pitt with the lead.
The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 17th to the 25th as ACC Unity Week. We are here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Panthers are getting a huge performance from Blake Hinson. His career high came last time against West Virginia in December when he scored 29. He is well on his way not just to beating that, Josh, but shattering it.
Absolutely, he's been outstanding tonight. However, Carrington and Lowe, the two freshman guards in the backcourt, are combined for 1 for 7. But those two have got 6 assists and only 2 turnovers. The impact those two freshmen are making on the game, even without scoring, is so important for Pitt, and they're doing it tonight because they're finding Hinson in transition. They know where their bread is to be buttered, and that is to find Hinson. So credit to those two, even when they're not shooting the ball well, finding the hot guy.
Caleb Glenn having a nice game for the Cardinals. Now 13 points, a perfect 5 for 5 from the floor. He completed that 3-point play. And same story all night long. And we talked during shoot around with these two freshman guards, Carrington and Lowe. How many teams that are either in the tournament field right now or even in contention like Pittsburgh, as Joe Lunardi has them in the next 4 out, have not just 1 but 2 true freshmen starting in the backcourt and playing huge minutes? Well, there's another assist for Lowe as Hinson stays hot. 25 points for the senior from Deltona, Florida.
Doug, to answer your question, there's not many teams in this day and age that have 2 really good guards in the freshman. Great steal there by Federico. They come in transition.
Pitt 5-on-4 is Huntley Hatfield. Late getting back. Lowe can't get the roll. Played off the rim by Louisville. Cardinals with the basketball down by 10.
There's not, in this day and age with the transfer portal, you don't see as many 2 guards that are freshmen as good starting as good as they are, playing at the minutes that they're playing and how well they're playing in today's game. And then that corner 3 by Hinson here off that out of bounds, like that's a pro shot. The base out of bounds there, the good screen by Federico. He probably doesn't get enough credit on that because that's really an assist. But for Hinson to get his feet set and his shoulders squared into that motion, that's what guys at the NBA do. I'm not saying he's an NBA player, but that is like an NBA type of shot.
Right. Well, he's a grown man and knows how to play basketball. There's no question about that. And so that trickles down. And so we talked to Jeff Capel after their shoot around today, and it was interesting that Carrington was ready to contribute right from the start. You know, he had a triple-double in game 1, which does not happen.
As a freshman.
And Lowe just wasn't ready, and he was on a different trajectory. But by the time we got partway into ACC play, the man with the basketball right now was ready to step in when Ish Leggett got hurt, and he has played a huge role for the Panthers, who have won 6 of their last 7 to get back on the bubble.
Yeah.
Huntley Hatfield has it rim out.
Jalen Lowe has been when you have those 2 guards with him and Carrington, they can play with the ball or without the ball. They really complement each other really well. And it just goes to show you for players out there, it might not happen right away, but a guy like Lowe just stayed with it, continued to work, stayed positive, and the next thing you know, he's a starting guard in the ACC and one of the best guards in this league, and he's only a freshman.
Hinson pulled from the elbow, about the only thing he's missed so far tonight.
And you know what? Credit to Jeff Capel and staff on finding him in the EYBL. He wasn't highly recruited. They saw him. They offered him a scholarship late in the summer. He played with the Houston Hoops. I got to give a shout out to the Houston Hoops. I used to coach the Houston Hoops.
And you're talking about Jalen Lowe, of course.
Talking about Jalen Lowe. So, you got to give them credit on them finding him. And there's a lot of really good players in that city. So sometimes guys can get through the cracks. They don't see everybody because there's so many good players. And they found him, and here he is, one of the better guards in this league. Now, Doug, this is danger zone time right now for Louisville. They're in striking distance. They're only down 6. This minute 20 is the most important minute 20 of this game. They've got to go into halftime keeping it single digits.
Hinson forced his way through the double team, but they can't stop him. He now has 27 of Pittsburgh's 35 points.
And he hasn't been just all threes. He's been inside shooting 2s. Again, this is key possessions by Louisville. They must keep it within single digits to keep it within striking distance going into the second half.
Jones well defended. Lowe poked it away. Pittsburgh with another takeaway. Carrington pulls it out. He and Lowe out there with Hinson, Federico, and Jeffress. Pittsburgh wearing its road blue uniforms at home for the first time this season. Carrington. How do you stop that?
Really good defense, better offense.
Yeah. First 2 points for the freshman from Baltimore makes it once again a 10-point game. Louisville can hold for a final shot if it wants. Five seconds remaining in the half. Caleb Glenn has to put it up. Barely grazed the iron. And a tough final 6 or 7 minutes of the half for Louisville. And Jeff Capel's team took advantage of the turnovers and took advantage of Blake Hinson.
Absolutely. That's the last thing Louisville needed, was to not go into the locker room in single digits. Being down double digits is danger zone for them. Coming out of halftime, the first 4 minutes are going to set the whole tone for either Pitt or Louisville.
Halftime at the Pete. We send you now back to the studio. It's already been an historic night inside the Petersen Events Center. Blake Hinson with 27 points in that first half. Passed 1,000 for his Pittsburgh career, just too shy of matching his career high. Meanwhile, single-handedly for Louisville, Caleb Glenn, the excellent freshman from right there in Louisville, matching his career high with 15 points. Where would the Cardinals trying to play spoiler be without number 10 in white? Here in the shadow of the Cathedral of Learning on the University of Pittsburgh campus, we welcome you back inside the Pete with Josh Pastner. I'm Doug Sherman. And what do you make of the first 20 minutes, and what does Louisville need to do better in the second half to try and play the role of spoiler?
Well, look, Louisville was hanging around because they weren't turning the ball over. Yes, Glenn saved them by making some shots, but they weren't turning it over. Towards the last half of the half, they started turning it over, got sloppy, which Pitt took advantage of that. I said this at the end, that last minute and 30. Louisville needed to go into the halftime staying within single digits. It is a 10-point lead. These next 4 minutes, Louisville cannot let Pitt stretch the lead where it gets out of striking distance. This will tell the whole game right here over this until the next media timeout. Can Pitt extend the lead, or can Louisville hang around to keep it? And I keep using striking distance because they're shorthanded. They cannot let the lead get out of hand.
Federico misses on the layup. Pittsburgh keeps the basketball. And while Louisville was not turning the ball over, it was able to take an 18-17 lead. But from that point forward, Josh, they turned the ball over 8 times down the stretch of that first half. If they don't clean that up, they've got no chance here tonight.
Two things. I don't care what sport it is. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey. If you turn it over, it's not good. To win games, you can't turn it over. And secondly, how many offensive rebounds now for Pitt that they've been giving up? That's their 6th offensive rebound for Pitt that has led to an open 3. Missed a shot, got an offensive rebound, got it to Jalen Lowe, and he hit a 3. Louisville was coming in this game doing a much better job on the glass. They've resorted back to kind of who they were in the beginning part of the year, where they weren't rebounding well.
Runner, air ball by Lowe, 10 on the shot clock. Pittsburgh keeps off the miss. Hinson has himself a new career high with nearly 19 minutes still to play.
That's Pitt's 7th offensive rebound. Louisville has no offensive rebounds. The best time to get a 3 a lot of times is off of an offensive rebound. That's where Pitt has hurt Louisville on 3-point shooting, and that's 2 of them to start this second half.
Boy, I tell you, the toughness of Caleb Glenn is on display. That is now a new career high for the freshman out of Male High School in Louisville.
Louisville fans should be really excited about him. He's been outstanding this evening. Well, and with those 2 guys not playing, that gives him more shot opportunities and more time to produce.
Line drive pull up by Carrington. He wanted a foul call. Just an air ball back to Louisville.
You can see here Glenn's just trying to muscle against Hinson. Two strong guys going against each other, but a great spin, and he uses the backboard. He didn't turn and try to just shoot it to the baseline. When you turn to that baseline, you have to use that backboard for the angle. He did it, and he's playing at a high level. tonight. And again, sometimes when guys are down with injuries, it gives other guys opportunities to step up, and he's taking advantage of that.
And he's a young man who grew up wanting to be a Cardinal. He committed to Chris Mack years ago. And like we talked about with the Pittsburgh freshman, Carlton Carrington, Bub was quicker to come along this year than Jalen Lowe. Same type of thing with Caleb Glenn. He is coming along and improving as his freshman season is advanced. Foul on the drive to the basket. And Carrington will head to the foul line. Mike James picks up the personal.
Look, Louisville fans need to understand that Kenny Payne's doing a good job with player development. I mean, guys are getting better. You look at Huntley Hatfield, he has improved since the time he's been there. You look at a guy like Glenn, you can see his trajectory of getting better. Nothing happens overnight. Things take time. Kenny Payne and his staff, they're known for player development. Kenny's known in the basketball industry as one of the best player developers there are, and he's developing guys, and you can see it on the floor tonight as guys continue to get better every time they step on the floor.
Well, Wednesday right here on ACC Network, we'll have a men's basketball matchup with Georgia Tech hosting Clemson at McCamish Pavilion. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern time.
You said it right.
McCamish.
Yep. They changed the name a year ago. They called it McCamish, but now the right name is McCamish.
McCamish. Brandon Huntley Hatfield finds the cutter. James banks it in.
They call that, Doug, a 45 cut. So Huntley Hatfield on the baseline drive, and James cut from the weak side slot. That's a 45 cut. Great area to cut. Another good pass by Huntley Hatfield. Again, the more he can be down by the block, the better it is for him and the better it is for Louisville.
By the way, that foul on James a moment ago was his third. Basket interference. Wave off the basket.
Louisville jumped on the screen trying to force Lowe to his right. He took it to his right. He wanted to go to his left. He's a lefty, but there's no question that's the correct call by the officials. That was offensive goaltending.
So James stays in the game with the 3 fouls. Again, Louisville playing with an extremely short bench. In fact, we only had 1 bench point combined in the first half between Louisville and Pittsburgh, but the Cardinals playing with only 9 available players, 7 scholarship players. Tyler Johnson did not make the trip because of a concussion. Sky Clark missing another game because of a rib injury. There's James playing through those 3 fouls. Didn't get the roll, but he'll head to the line for 2.
I don't think Kenny Payne has any option, but he's got to leave James in. At this point of the game, for them trying to stay within trying to get it back into single digits, with maybe their lack of scoring, they've got to have James in the game. It's a smart move by Kenny to keep him in.
Well, Dennis Evans, for an undisclosed medical condition, out for the year. Hersey Miller, season-ending hip injury. J.J. Traynor, season-ending shoulder injury in early January, had surgery on that left shoulder on January 19th, in addition to the 2 starting guards, including that man, Sky Clark, sophomore transfer from Illinois. And so the Cardinals are playing shorthanded again tonight. Rebounding foul against Brandon Huntley Hatfield.
Free throw box out, so Pitt, on the free throw box out, that's a great opportunity to try to get a second opportunity. Well, Huntley Hatfield tried to make an effort, but his hands were down low, and that's where they got on the push. Because you're on the inside there, being on the offensive player, got to have your hands high when you're making those things. Do your work with the lower body, keep your hands high so the refs see the high hands.
Hinson, 33.
Hey, Doug, Louisville worked on the zone this afternoon. They talked about getting to the corners with the 5-man. Huntley Hatfield was late getting there, and he gave Hinson an open 3. You've got to literally be in his airspace. You've got to know what his breath smells like. You can't give Hinson any room whatsoever.
I'm not sure I'd want to know what his breath smells.
Well, the only way to guard him, you've got to be that close and that tight.
I get
to
it.
him.
I think I might be willing to give up 30 points that night. Here he is going inside. Ball ricochets off of Federico's head.
Offensive rebound.
Saved back out to Carrington. Great ball movement. They find the hot hand. Hinson, though, maybe had it deflected.
The sense of urgency on that closeout was way different than the ones before. Could not let Hinson get that open 3.
They're going to count that basket. As we head to break, what can't Blake Hinson do? 33 and counting with 7 made triples. Pittsburgh with a 13-point lead over Louisville. Nearly 5 minutes gone here at the Pete. Felton Jeffrey Capel III, the former Duke Blue Devil, captain at Duke and longtime assistant coach under Mike Krzyzewski, has his team in position to be in position. As Joe Lunardi put out right at about tip-off tonight, right around 6:30, he said Pittsburgh is officially in position. They are the last team that he has listed in the next 4-out category. So they've got to hold serve tonight and avoid any sort of upset against Louisville to keep that door open.
Jeff Capel's done an outstanding job. Think about it last year at the start of the year, they were struggling. There's a lot of noise. How he rallied his group. And they won all those games, got to the second round of the NCAA tournament. He was outstanding last year, Coach Capel, and he's done the same thing this year. Great credit to Coach Capel and staff.
Well, you know, there are parallels between where the Pittsburgh program was when he took over 6 years ago to where Louisville was 2 years ago when Kenny Payne came back to his alma mater. And given time, Coach Capel has done a marvelous job rebuilding it.
Absolutely. And you look at it, I mean, you just look at the resume right here. They have a good resume, and their road wins at Virginia, at Duke. They got 6 road wins. Great out-of-bounds play right there to get Hinson an open 3. Great call by Jeff Capel.
You know, you said earlier, and I don't disagree with you, that the best time to shoot a 3-pointer is off a miss and an offensive rebound kickout. I'd say the best time to shoot a 3 is anytime number 2 and blue has the ball in his hand.
I would also agree with you on that. You could be coaching. Next, if I get another head job one day, I want you as my assistant.
Give the ball to number 2 and get out of the way.
See, it's not complicated basketball.
Here he is with the ball after the Louisville turnover. Federico. How about the nifty little shot? Zach Austin, the redshirt junior from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, makes it a 17-point Pittsburgh lead.
And you can see right here on the base out of bounds, a great pin down by Federico. He keeps setting great screens and nothing but the net. ACC Player of the Week is going to be Hinson for sure.
Collectively has made 12 buckets. By himself, Blake Hinson has done the same. Individually, he is outscoring the entire Cardinals team.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. He's literally standing on the pier into the Atlantic Ocean, shooting into the ocean. That's how he looks at the rim right now.
Where on the Atlantic? Are we in warm weather, I hope?
We're down in Florida.
Somewhere down south.
Down south,
right.
Down in Florida. But
I like it.
He's been outstanding. And here's the thing. Between Carrington and Lowe, they've got 9 assists. So they're doing a great job finding him. And Federico, the screens that he's setting that doesn't show up in the box score to get Hinson open deserves credit on that as well.
Yeah, I'd rather be down on the Atlantic down south than having him shooting into the Monongahela River.
Yeah, it's a little cold right now.
Little cold.
But that's how he's visiting the rim right now. That's how big the rim looks to him.
Zan Payne back into the game. James gets the contact, and he will shoot 2, the personal foul against Guillermo Diaz-Graham.
You know, Diaz-Graham's going to be a good player for Pitt. He's long. He's skilled. Him and his brother. His brother's obviously injured, but those guys, the continuation of the development that Coach Capel and the staff will do, they've got great upside for the big picture. And what makes him have a chance to be good is guys like a Blake Hinson. The toughness and the leadership that he has allows both brothers to have a chance to be really good ACC players in the future.
And we saw Jorge Diaz-Graham sitting behind the bench. He had season-ending ankle surgery earlier this month and is expected back. It's Guillermo, though, who has been ahead development-wise, really has been productive in spurts for Pitt. He picks up an assist there on the corner 3 by Ish Leggett.
Outstanding penetration by Carrington. Got it to Diaz-Graham, and then he found the open man in the corner. And if you watch Louisville, Payne took out Hinson, was literally face guarding, so they were playing 4-on-4, which allows extra spacing for Pittsburgh. They're trying to say, don't let Hinson score anymore.
Foul given up after the turnover. Trey White had the ball poked away and then picks up the personal.
Look at Carrington here on the drive, on the penetration, the relocation, and then the kick out for the one more open three from the corner. Just great penetration, great find. The ball's humming like it's a hot potato, hot stove. Boom, boom, boom. It's not sticking. Those things, as I always say, the go-to man is the open man, and they found the open man, and he was the go-to man. Great backdoor. Yep.
Give him 2 more. 38 points and counting.
Doug, Payne is trying to face guard him, not let him catching it, and then Hinson's cut because he got on the high side. Was trying to, they call it top blocking, being on the high side. Great backdoor cut by Hinson, and a great find as well.
Williams missed from the baseline. Pittsburgh with it, up by 20. 8 minutes gone in the second. Diaz-Graham thought about passing it to Hinson inside. Instead, comes and sets the screen after giving it to Carrington.
They try to get an ISO drive.
Leggett to the corner. Low. 2 seconds to shoot. Carrington.
I actually thought Lowe had an open shot. He turned an open 3 down, or he had the one more without the dribble to Carrington, but by that extra dribble, slowed things down.
James. Carrington with another rebound. Leggett steps into a 3. You know, in this run of 6 wins in 7 games, Leggett has been tremendous, averaging over 13 per game. But until about a minute ago, he was scoreless tonight, playing his role, and the school is trying to tell you he is very much in the mix for 6th man of the year in the ACC, showing you that he doesn't have to go get his. He's playing a proper role again here tonight. Tough pass. Out of bounds, back to Pittsburgh. Timeout called. We'll take it with him. Panthers in complete control, up by 22 here in Pittsburgh. The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 17th to the 25th as ACC Unity Week. As part of this initiative, members of Louisville and Pitt joined one another on the court to demonstrate their commitment to seeing each other as equals and treating each other with respect and dignity at all times. Recognizing our differences don't divide us, but make us stronger. With Josh Pastner, I'm Doug Sherman, back in Pittsburgh, where the Panthers and their fans believe once again, having a big night tonight. And Coach Capel has his team on the verge of winning for the 7th time in the last 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, look at those key wins at Duke, at Virginia. They've got 6 true road wins on the year, which has been outstanding. 6 games away from home to do that. That's hard to do. They're right there. They've got a big stretch coming up. And look, they're going to win this game. They're up 22. Louisville's not coming back. However, the margin of victory matters because it all plays into the metrics with efficiency defensively and offensively in the net rankings.
Low from the corner makes it 62-37.
So Pitt's going to want to keep the efficiency and not get sloppy, because every possession matters when it gets into the metrics part, and when they're trying to fight with the bubble, they don't have that margin of error, so they need every number that they can to help boost their net up.
No doubt. Brandon Huntley Hatfield now with 6 points midway through the second half. And there is Coach Capel in year number 6 as head coach here at Pittsburgh. Of course, he comes from a coaching family. His father, Jeff II, passed away 6 years ago, college and NBA coach. Guillermo Diaz-Graham.
Both times on those last 3-point attempts, the drive was from the slot. They helped off of ball side corner, was able to find the open man by Pitt. They're feeling it right now. part of the big thing has been their offensive rebounds too. That's been the big difference in their second chance points. 16 second chance points for Pitt. Watch here on this three. You can see the drive right from the slot and the help by Payne, the stunt. You can see it right there. He commits too much, gives enough room, and then what happens? He's too tall, so a closeout, he can just score over. And then a nice and one there for James. He splits the double. Pitt didn't close their feet to take off the double. Louisville's going to go back into their zone. Pitt has made a bunch of threes against their zone. We'll see if they can get to the corners, if Huntley Hatfield can get to the corner in a hurry to take out any three-point attempt. Hinson is not in now, Doug, so that makes a difference.
Low. No. Well, Hinson is sitting with a career-high 38 points right now. The Pitt record is 45, scored by the great Don Hennon back in the 57-58 season. The national high this year is 49 by Denver's Tommy Bruner. So some things to think about if indeed he comes back into the game, which we presume he will. And like you said, coaches have to think about margin of victory now. And right on cue, Hinson's coming back into the game.
So out of that zone there, first of all, Louisville did a zoom action with Mike James handing to Trey White, who got to an elbow jumper, mid-range shot. Trey's really good at those. And then down here, defensively, Pitt set the high ball screen on the top of the zone, got the Carrington to the drive to the left, and made a pull-up J. But again, Hinson's coming back because all these metrics matter with the net ranking, because everything evolves with efficiencies on offensively and defensively, and all 40 minutes count towards that.
Plus, don't you want him to shatter records? I mean, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I don't know if Coach Capel's thinking about that. He's thinking strictly about net rankings and metrics right now.
Well, he will check back in at the next stoppage, sitting along the scores table with Zach Austin. Diaz-Graham bounce it out for Lowe, and he'll pull it back out with 12 on the shot clock and reload. Huntley Hatfield tries to keep the hand up. Perhaps that deterred Lowe a bit, and Louisville has it down by 21. Second defender comes. Huntley Hatfield skips it across the court. In and out, everything but the bucket on the attempt by Danilo Jovanovic.
Doug, really good things happen when they get the ball to Huntley Hatfield at the block area. Whether it's because of his ability to pass, good things have happened. The more they can do that, the better for Louisville. I've been saying that all night. We got to continue to get his presence down there.
We have a break in the action as the officials make sure everybody heads back to their respective bench areas. Back to the beat right after this. Among the Pittsburgh advantages so far tonight, second chance points. The Panthers have 16 compared to just 3 for Louisville, and they've been spreading the wealth here.
Absolutely. Just, again, effort plays here. Just you can see Federico with the second effort. And then watch this last clip here by just, a second and third effort. They just beat Louisville to the 50-50 balls. Find Hinson for the open three. As we've mentioned, sometimes the best time to get his three-point shot is off the offensive rebound, and no one's done that better this evening other than Pitt. Pitt's been excellent at that. Second and third efforts, 50-50 loose balls. Great play call by Jeff Capel out of the timeout.
Federico off the lob from Lowe, and that was drawn up and executed to perfection. Now, one of the other things, turnovers and points off of turnovers. Pittsburgh has 17 points off of turnovers. Louisville just 2. So that was one of the other themes, Josh, we were talking about from the top, that if the Cardinals didn't take care of the basketball, they could be in trouble. And throughout the first 12-13 minutes of the game, they took care of the basketball, and they even led by a point. But then it got away quickly, and turnovers were a big part of it. And all the while, Blake Hinson just been knocking down shots.
On the flip side, Pitt has 19 assists on 25 made field goals and only 3 turnovers. That's, again, taking care of the ball. I don't care what sport it is, not turning it over gives you your best chance to win games.
Huntley Hatfield showing his versatility.
Kenny Payne has done such a good job with developing Huntley Hatfield. He deserves so much credit, him and his staff, for the development of Huntley Hatfield. As I mentioned earlier, Kenny Payne's known as one of the best player developers in the country. And the more they can continue for Huntley Hatfield to get play through him, the better. As much as he's improved, and he's got to have that fire about him every time he steps on the floor. He's got to play with that intensity, that sense of urgency, that motor. For Louisville to be successful, they need Huntley Hatfield to play with that type of nothing will stop me type of attitude. Every possession.
Second defender gets the ball out of the hands, at least for now, of Hinson. 6 minutes to go. Leggett attacks, hangs in the air, and lays it in.
Talk about a weapon to have coming off the bench like that. He's in contention for a possible ACC Sixth Man of the Year award. To have that extra insurance agency coming off, and that explosiveness, that talent, that ability to put the ball in the basket and do what he does, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, is a great added bonus for Coach Capel and this team.
And as much as anything, as Zach Austin draws the foul, Leggett has accepted the role. You know, he was starting at the beginning of the year along with Carrington in the backcourt, but he got hurt, and then the dynamic shifted. Lowe continued to get better, and Leggett, to his credit, the Rhode Island transfer, who is all about winning, has done the right thing by his coaches, by his teammates, to accept that role. And again, over the last 7 games coming in, averaging 13 points, 5 rebounds, nearly 2 steals per game, and all doing it with a smile on his face.
Yeah, that's what makes really good basketball teams, really good teams in anything, when people accept their roles, are first about winning, understanding about the name on the front of the jersey. He's understanding, hey, the better Pitt does, the better it's going to be for me. And Coach Capel and staff have done outstanding work with the transfers that they've brought in. So like Leggett coming from Rhode Island. Last year, Nellie Cummings understanding about winning, how important it is. Blake Hinson buying in and being a great leader. Those type of things where he's done a great job finding those type of guys in the portal.
Here's Hinson trying for 40 points with that shot. It goes out of bounds and will stay with Pitt with 20 on the shot clock. It was a 10-point game at halftime, and Coach Capel's team has just eased away, looking for their 17th win of the year. Again, unable to get 40. He's already got his career high at 38, does Hinson. White off the pull-up.
Look, there's some good pieces here with Louisville. They've got some good young pieces. They've got good talent. White, and he's a good mid-range pull-up shooter. That's his second or third right here in this half, where he's hit those 15, 17-foot jump shots. People just got to continue to be patient with Coach Payne.
Off of a broken play, Zach Austin left alone. Only 28% on the year from distance, but when you're that open, the number's going to go up.
Yeah, I mean, again, but the drive by Lowe to suck the defense in. Louisville's one of the worst teams in the ACC at guarding the three. Pitt's one of the best, and that shows why, the way they suck the defense in, able to find the open man and get the one more pass to get the open shots.
Huntley Hatfield again, he's got 12, 4 different Louisville players in double figures, but they are down by 20.
I really like Huntley Hatfield. He's just got to play with that urgency. Like, it's got to be just every second he's got to have that type of urgency. For Louisville to be successful, they've got to have him play with that, with a motor, with that dedication of, I want to win every possession. He's got to have that mentality. When he does, he's really a really good basketball player.
Federico with another putback.
Good
James. 3.5 to go. Lowe dribbles up. Underhands it to Austin. Huntley Hatfield just rips it away from Federico.
You know, again, for Pitt, look, again, Pitt's winning the game, but for metrics and for net rankings, they don't want to have any slippage in this last 3 minutes.
Timeout on the floor, Zach Austin, who Coach Capel says is the best athlete we've had since we've been here. Well, he's got the stroke as well to go with the ups. All Pitt tonight over Louisville. Well, Carolina, Duke, Virginia all took care of business early this afternoon. They, along with Clemson, seem to be safely in the field. The question is, out of Wake, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Florida State, and Miami, who has a real shot? Well, Wake certainly does. Pittsburgh certainly does, on the verge of winning for the 7th time in 8 games. Syracuse lost a tough one to Georgia Tech today. You can kind of take them out of the consideration. And Florida State and Miami also lost today. Where do you see this shaking out? So we've got 4 from this league we feel safely in. Will it be 5? Will it be 6?
Well, I think Tuesday's game is the best game of the night. Is going to be Pitt and Wake Forest. You know how much is riding on that game, because the winner of that game puts themselves in a position to be maybe on the right side of the bubble. So that's going to be a huge game. But I think right now, Wake Forest and Pitt are the 2 best teams to give them for the ACC to get to 5 and 6 in the tournament. But Syracuse has lost today. Miami lost today. You're starting to just get into where they're going to maybe have to make a run in the rest of the season or win the ACC tournament. So you're really looking at a realistic thing right now where it's a possibility of really just 6 teams without someone winning the automatic qualifier in the ACC.
Right, and win or lose Tuesday between Wake and Pitt,
it doesn't
the
put
loser's
them out.
not out.
It just puts you in the right side.
Yes.
Because you got to remember, when you're dealing the tournament, it's not just about conference. You're looking at resumes of different teams, not only in the ACC, around the country. So if someone's saying, hey, Wake and Pitt, they're looking at everything that you're looking at. And if it came down to between one of those 2 teams, a game like on Tuesday can make or break. Look, there's still a lot of games left, Doug. There's still season to be played. But there's no denying Tuesday's a big game. And for Pitt, they got Saturday, Virginia Tech at home, which would be a quad 2 win if they can win that, and then they're at Clemson. So it's not just the Wake game. They got some other good opportunities after that game as well.
41 points for Blake Hinson. He's the first Panther to go for 40 or more in 27 years. It is Blake Hinson night at the Petersen Events Center. The Oakland Zoo is hopping, and that's because Blake Hinson, who coming into the night had never scored 30 points in a single game, has gone for 41 and counting, Josh.
Hey, basketball is a simple game when you can just make shots. It's a make and miss game. And when you have a guy like Blake Hinson, credit to Coach Capel and the rest of the players, find Blake Hinson. He's been outstanding tonight. Look, I love Commissioner Phillips. I love Paul Brazo with basketball in the ACC. If he's not ACC Player of the Week, there should be an absolute conspiracy theory, and those 2 guys have to be checked. If he's not give it to. Why are we waiting till next week? Can we just name him ACC Player of the Week right now? Come on, Commissioner Phillips, Paul Brazo, name him already. Let's go.
Well, his night is done, and clearly over the last couple of minutes, Jeff Capel was trying to get him to 40, and so he finally gets it. Now, what a feeling that must be to reflect back on a prolific night scoring the basketball. And he'll say afterward, more importantly, we made sure we didn't have a hiccup here against Louisville, and we kept our foot to the pedal with another big win.
100%. Look, the Hinson getting 1,000 points tonight, having him getting over 40, they're all special accomplishments. But the most important thing about tonight for Pittsburgh was they took care of business. And they took care of it in a way that needed to be taken care of, which will help them with the metrics. So as we talked about, they were worried about, worried's the wrong word, they were concerned that they didn't want to have a letdown. Like, could this be a trap game between Virginia and Wake Forest? And they took care of business. They were ready to play. I thought the energy and shoot around by Pitt, you could just tell the sense of excitement and enthusiasm. They are ready to play.
Well, KJ Marshall is coming to the game for Pitt, missing that shot. Aiden McCool, a walk-on for Louisville, is in for some rare playing time. Williams, no. And as Pittsburgh has the ball, I also want to throw out there, this has been a really big week for Pitt basketball because Mo Gee made his NBA debut on Monday, a guy who has beaten the odds just to get to Pittsburgh and now has found a spot on a 10-day contract with the Toronto Raptors. Sweet stroke from Leggett. Don't look now. He's up into double figures.
Yeah, no, and he, again, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Just he's in real contention to be the Sixth Man of the Year award in this league. And again, just gives him that bonus to know that you can have him coming off the bench and there's no drop off when you go to him.
Glenn. And now let's see if Pittsburgh tries to get the ball into the hands of the people's choice, number 12. He's got it, KJ Marshall. On cue, the senior who grew up in Reading, PA, had scholarship offers at other schools, but he chose to walk on here at Pittsburgh. Has his first 2 points here tonight. Low goes down, the foul against Zan Payne. And Jeff Capel is very subtly telling his guys, okay, pull it out. Come on.
When he fell down, I was watching Coach Capel. He had like his heart skipped a couple beats because he thought it looked like he might have hurt himself in his heart. So he just said, hey, just pull it out. We don't need any injuries.
Well, Pittsburgh has showed tonight one of the hottest teams, not just in the ACC, but in the country. Over its last 7 games coming in, 6 wins, including at Duke and at Virginia, and handling business here tonight at home.
Doug, for people that are watching and hearing us right now, I'm telling you, it is so hard to win on the road. And for them to have the road wins that they've had, what a credit to Pittsburgh basketball and Coach Capel. That is hard to do. Credit to them.
A lively crowd on a Saturday night in the Steel City, partying because Blake Hinson went for 41 and the Panthers stay red hot.
Great job by Pitt. Doug, it has been great to work alongside you.
Yes.
You've been outstanding. You're a pro. You're a longtime pro. Great atmosphere here. Great home court advantage. Pitt's right there. They're right there. They're playing their way in. They just got to keep on winning. It's very simple. And they need Hinson to continue to shoot like this. That would help.
The pleasure was all mine, my friend. What a night. A chance to watch this man ply his trade. The Oakland Zoo loved it, and right from the start, the hot hand belonged to Blake Hinson. He started the night 12 shy of 1,000 for his Pittsburgh career. He finished with 41. No Pitt player has scored that many in a game since Don Hennon back in 57-58. Remarkable. Pitt wins 86-59. That's it. For Josh Pastner, I'm Doug Sherman. So long from the Pete.